We've replaced the varying shades of blue in the stands with some green and some garnet for Notre Dame and Florida State in our second semifinal of the evening. We'll take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. First up, Lori, for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah, for Notre Dame, they're going to be in their typical 3-5-2. Bigotino in the back line that anchors them. 18 games started, 18 games played. Honstein will come into the starting lineup. She'll sit next to Matriana. That will actually push Korbin Albert out of the midfield up top next to Wingate. She'll look to get isolated, but also combine with Wingate, especially in the transitional moments.
Korbin Albert named ACC Midfielder of the Year, all ACC first team selection. She has been on an absolute tear coming down the stretch for the Irish. And the starting lineup for the Florida State Seminoles.
Yeah, in their 4-3-3, Payne will have the license to be able to get forward into the attack on that right-hand side. Nesbeth will lock things down centrally, allowing for Niswanger and Robbins to be able to dictate the tempo and get Etchegini and Brown into the midfield, or excuse me, into the attack. Niswanger, though, 13 assists on the season, one of the best dead ball deliverers in the country. They'll look for the set pieces tonight, especially as they continue to find possession and look for those opportunities in and around the box.
Yeah, she has had a fantastic year. The Seminoles leading all teams with their number of all ACC selections. Niswanger was a first team selection for first-year head coach Brian Penske. Had a nice conversation with him this week as he got set for his first ACC championship game in charge of the Seminoles, coming over from Tennessee, and telling us that he really wanted his team to celebrate and appreciate what they had done so far, winning a share of the ACC regular season title. It's the 5th time that they have done that. They've had so much success. So he said, yeah, we did that, and then we realized we kind of just held serve. High standards for sure for Florida State. Meanwhile, on the other side, Notre Dame being led by the ACC Coach of the Year, Nate Norman. Kudos to what he has been able to do in his 5th season, leading this team to some incredible wins during the regular season. They come in as the 3 seed. They were just below Florida State and North Carolina, who tied for that ACC regular season title. But as we talked about just a few moments ago, the regular season was a lopsided affair. This happened on a Sunday in South Bend, and Notre Dame, right from the jump, got on Florida State and took an early lead, never looked back.
Yeah, it would be Albert that would get them on the score sheet first. And as you mentioned, Jen, they wouldn't look back, really took advantage of Florida State's expansive shape, something that Florida State's going to look to clean up tonight, making sure when they are in possession, they don't leave themselves susceptible, because players like Albert, Wingate, and even Van Zanten coming out of the midfield, and Mercado, who will come off the bench tonight, are players that can comfortable when they're isolated, getting in behind and causing trouble for the opposition defensively.
It's a massive win for Notre Dame in that matchup. Florida State leading the series overall, but that last one certainly fresh in everyone's minds. In the ACC tournament, this is their 3rd ever meeting. Florida State 2-0, the advantage on this postseason field. We told you about some of the award winners that are on actually both of these teams. Notre Dame has a few, but Florida State picking up Goalkeeper of the Year award. This is the first time that we've had that in the ACC. Christina Roque, who will get the start in this match, earning Goalkeeper of the Year honors. She's out there hidden somewhere with her Florida State team. Trust me, she's there. Both she and Mia Justice had been splitting time really early in the season, but as this season went on, as we've seen with the Seminoles teams in the past when Mark Krikorian was head coach, Roque has been the one down the stretch, and she is the one they will lean on here in the postseason. She was a part of their most recent NCAA championship effort last year.
And a wild note, Jen, of Roque, their loss to North Carolina a few weeks ago was her very first loss in her career.
Yeah.
Speaks to the success of the Seminoles as well, not only just Roque.
There she is in black there in the center of that huddle. 34, 1-8 all-time, her incredible record for the Seminoles. Meanwhile, for Notre Dame, they too were using a couple of goalkeepers throughout this season, but it has been the transfer from Northwestern, Mackenzie Wood, who has taken over the top spot. She earned All-ACC 3rd team recognition. Roque, as you would imagine, was 1st team with that Goalkeeper of the Year nod. But Wood has also been great. First in the ACC in goals against average and shutouts, 9 of them on the year. Looks like the teams are now just about ready to go. I had to wait a little longer for this one with North Carolina and Duke going to overtime and then the shootout before the Tar Heels continue their dominance over their Tobacco Road rivals at this ACC Championship. North Carolina 13-0 all-time against Duke in the ACC tournament, but now Florida State and Notre Dame are up to see who will meet the Tar Heels in Sunday's final. Florida State in white. This is Beata Olsen on the ball. Notre Dame in navy. You can see Jody Brown had eyes on the ball, number 10 for Florida State. And we picked out Echegini. She goes by Joe, by the way, Joe Echegini to talk about. But really, there are any number of players for both of these teams we could have selected because they both come in with really varied attacks.
And potent attacks, if you will. Both of these teams have the ability to not only threaten in behind, but also their front runners really good back to goal, can hold up play, allow for others to come through the midfield to join into the attack. And we're seeing Brown already just hold up the play and keep the ball moving for Florida State on that far side.
Heather Payne in that right back position. Had to miss a couple of matches this year as she was with the Irish national team, helping them qualify for next year's World Cup. First time ever for Ireland qualifying, and Payne a big part of that. That's always part of the storyline, though, for this Florida State team. Always loaded with international talent. Jody Brown,
signals blinking.
2, plays for Jamaica.
Maybe.
Ava Gattino in the back. ACC Defensive Player of the Year, number 19 in the middle there of that back 3 for Notre Dame. Winaya Hudson trying to feed Wingate. Gattino. Another Jamaican international. There's Kiki Van Zanten for Notre Dame. She and Jody Brown on the ball now, both part of Jamaica's team, and also qualified for the World Cup this past summer.
And we asked Nate Norman this morning, actually, Jen, coming into this game, where he felt they could take advantage of, and he said, well, this is a Florida State team that has a lot of experience, so how do they calm the nerves early on? They get on the ball, they press like they have been all season to get themselves into this game. We're already seeing that, keeping possession at times, looking to see if they can find Wingate in behind. Because this is a Florida State team that comes in with a ton of experience, not only just playing in this tournament, but knowing what it takes to win. Notre Dame has to find those ways to negate that difference in experience and just calm the nerves early on in this game.
The Irish had an opportunity to tie Florida State and North Carolina for that regular season title. We've never in the history of the ACC had a 3-way tie in the regular season. It could have happened this year, but Notre Dame had to settle for the draw in their regular season finale against the Duke Blue Devils. That was 2-2. Still, though, Notre Dame comes in here unbeaten in their last 8. They had won 6 in a row where they outscored those opponents 16-0, and then draws in their last 2, including that quarterfinal matchup, which officially counts as a draw against Pitt before Notre Dame was able to advance on penalties. Leah Klinke's had a great year. Freshman from Houston, Texas, started every match on the back line for Notre Dame this season. Number 4, all freshman team selection. Another good freshman there too, Heather Gilchrist in the back. Number 20 for Florida State. Clara Robbins, the veteran on this Florida State team, number 26, puts this ball over the head of Payne. Van Zanten charging into the box for Notre Dame.
but she's going to be an important piece, Van Zanten, in this game, because we talk about Albert moving up next to Wingate. Albert, typically one of the attacking midfielders next to Van Zanten. Just playing underneath those two front runners, makes such good, intelligent runs out of the midfield. Difficult to pin down, and just early on in these moments, I'm looking at Hohenstein, the player that we talked about coming in for Mercado. Hohenstein going to sit next to Matriana in the midfield, but it does have the license to be able to go forward. We'll see if she plays a bit more defensively throughout the beginning of this match, just to lock down things in the middle of the field, or just commit herself forward.
All-female referee crew for this match, as we had for our first semifinal as well. Catherine McCormick in the center. Saw two players sent off in that first semifinal. In case you missed any of those highlights, I guess we'll call them. We'll show them to you at halftime of this match. It was Duke who lost a player first just before halftime. Straight red shown to Maggie Graham. And then Talia Della Peruta for North Carolina picked up a second yellow, so she went out. So hopefully the referees won't be quite as busy in this match, but we'll see. Here is Echegini. Defended well by Notre Dame. Hudson making the initial play. Now Brie Martinez.
Yeah, that was a huge defensive play to go to ground for Hudson, just to clear the ball inside the 18-yard box. That's something that Echegini is excellent at, just pouncing on some of the loose balls, getting to it first. Well read from Hudson.
Pretty tremendous success stories for both of these teams, even to get to this point. They both want quite a bit more, though, as they continue on through this season. For Florida State, just having to reload with a new head coach and Brian Penske, and all of that history, both a blessing perhaps and a curse in a way, in that you have to really have a high bar just to keep up with what's been happening before. I mean, the Seminoles in the ACC tournament, for example, have won this 8 of the last 11 times it has been played, including the last 2. They're also the defending national champions. 3 NCAA championships in the 17-year tenure of Mark Krikorian. And then for Notre Dame, just being able to come out and prove that they belong with these top teams in this conference, which they have squarely done this season.
And for Notre Dame, really playing in a 3-5-2 formation. You know, we've seen a number of teams throughout the conference varying. At times will play in a 3-5-2 to match them, but they have really stuck to their identity in this formation, have played it so well. It's resulted in being so threatening going forward, and players in double digits in goals up top for them. And that is not easy in this conference. But they've proven themselves, come up with some big wins, and one of those being, as we've already mentioned, against Florida State early on in this season, 4-0, convincing win. But for Nate Norman's side, it really is going to come down to getting a result here tonight, proving that they deserve to be here, knowing what it takes to win in these important moments. A team that has high ambitions, not just in this tournament, but postseason play in general.
Echegini in the corner, nowhere really to go, but it will be Florida State ball. Echegini transferring in from Mississippi State, adding to that really dangerous attack for the Seminoles this season. So of course Brian Penske knew her very well, playing against her in the SEC when he was with Tennessee. He was the SEC Coach of the Year last year. Coming back to the ACC, previously coached at Maryland, and Penske the only active coach to have earned ACC, SEC, and National Coach of the Year honors. Brown, speed around the corner. Bouncing ball in the box, easily grabbed by Wood.
Well, that's an area on that far side for both Brown and Echegini on the near side. That space on the outside of the 3 center backs for Notre Dame. Can they get in, behind, and around the defensive 3 for Notre Dame? look to exploit early and often, then send dangerous balls in and force Notre Dame to have to defend facing their own goal. That is an area, if there is one, for Notre Dame that has been susceptible this season, is facing their own goal when dangerous delivery is coming in from those wide channels.
There's Korbin Albert trying to feed Wingate. She'll make a run for this. This is her bread and butter. A little wider than she would have liked, though. Pushed her out of a more dangerous position. Kiki Van Zanten just keeping at it, though. Not allowing Florida State to clear the ball very easily.
And just keep your eye on number 7 and 2 for Notre Dame, because they will interchange. One will drop deep as Albert is more comfortable playing in more of an attacking midfield role, but Van Zanten happy to get forward, really start the attack with some high pressing defensive play.
A brief touch there for Jenna Neiswanger. That's going to be a key too. And talking with Nate Norman, thinking that those 210s for Florida State, Claire Robbins, Jenna Neiswanger, really do so much to set the rhythm for the Seminoles. It was one of his main goals to try to take that away.
Well, it's one of the reasons why we are seeing number 10, Honstein, just drop a little bit deeper at times next to Matriano, just to clog up the midfield, but also deny the balls into Neiswanger and Robbins, negate some of their ability to be able to set the rhythm for this Florida State team. Because even though this Florida State team has been more direct this season, they are a team that wants to keep possession, and a lot of it goes through Robbins and Neiswanger.
There is Robbins, pass back for Leilani Nesbitt. All ACC second team honors for Nesbitt this season in a new role in which she has been very instrumental, more defensive midfielder role for Nesbitt. Ron Ewise also had to drop back for the Seminoles. He's played that outside left back for much of the season. Started every match for Florida State. Tomorrow, the Field Hockey Championship game is coming your way on ACCN. That's at 2 Eastern. Then on Sunday, the men's soccer quarterfinals start also at 2 Eastern, all right here on ACCN and the ESPN app, the home of ACC Championships. Of course, our championship also on Sunday. That is noon Eastern over on ESPNU. So make sure you come back and join us for that one. North Carolina Tar Heels awaiting the winner of this one. They did not play Notre Dame during the regular season and had a big win on the road at Florida State, did North Carolina. Echegini, cross, Robbins, the header! She just shines in the ACC tournament. Robbins, the ACC tournament MVP the last 2 years, gives the Seminoles the lead.
Well, this is one of the 2 players that Notre Dame head coach Nate Norman was concerned about, making runs out of the midfield, getting on the ball. It's Claire Robbins. What a terrific ball in from Echegini. Just gets faced up, drives that into the penalty spot. It's a late run from Claire Robbins, and then she does so well, just knocks it down through traffic to the far post. Exactly what you want, past the outstretched Mackenzie Wood, to put the Seminoles up 1-0 in the first 15 minutes, and that is a great header.
So early advantage for the Seminoles. And now it'll be up to Notre Dame to try to find a way back in.
And this exact thing that Nate Norman was trying to negate is those runs out of the midfield, no one picks her up. Actually gets past 2 defenders for Notre Dame to get a clear header on frame. Really well-timed run out of the midfield for Robbins to get on the end of that Echegini ball.
That goal coming in the 13th minute. Now Albert and Notre Dame looking for a response! Oh my! That'll do!
Well, Jen, your question coming into this game is, where are we going to have goals? We didn't have them in the first one. 2 in the matter of minutes. In this one, it's Korbin Albert of her 11th of the season. just gets past the first defender and then just gets her head up and unleashes a rocket from distance. And what a strike from distance from the sophomore into that far corner past Roque.
I was just about to point out that one goal was all it took for Florida State in the final against Virginia last year. Claire Robbins had that game winner in the ACC Championship, on her way to tournament MVP for the second straight year, but one's not going to be enough tonight. Notre Dame firing back through Albert a minute after Florida State took the lead. Here is Albert again. ACC Midfielder of the Year, playing a little more of an advanced role to start this match for Notre Dame. Good ball in the box. Wingate still there. There is no whistle.
And a great response from Notre Dame. I think teams that aren't used to being in the postseason play, in the semifinals, could get a little shell-shocked, but Notre Dame with great response. That didn't look like enough contact. Good no call from the referee, but it's a dangerous ball in to try to find the diagonal runner, forcing Echegini to come all the way back from the attacking left wing position. And you mentioned Korbin Albert. It's a really smart move from Nate Norman to start her initially higher up the field, because she does have freedom to drop in. And you can see already in the opening moments of this game, Florida State having a difficult time deciding, are we going to step to pick her up or just allow her to float into the midfield? But with her movement, she has such a good job of finding space, getting on the ball, and that led to that opportunity and ultimately the tying goal for her.
Albert, just a sophomore, finished her first 2 years really strong. Of course, this one's not done yet, but as she has come down the stretch, that her 9th goal in the last 8 games played. And it was something similar last year, 8 goals in her last 11 for the Irish. Nesbitt looking for Brown over the top. Gattino, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, had it covered. She cleans up a lot, doesn't she, back there in the middle of that back three for Notre Dame?
Yeah, she certainly does. And just her ability with recovery speed, but also just the reading of the play. We've already seen her a few times step in the midfield, win balls, but also just deny the front runners of Florida State to be able to turn it and run at the back line. And really just mature performances we've seen out of Gattino throughout this season.
A little more fireworks so far in this one than we had in the first match, which was 0-0 through 110 minutes. North Carolina and Duke add another chapter to that rivalry. Christina Roque, told you about her incredible record in goal for the Seminoles in her career. Her goals against average coming into tonight was .56 for her career. That's #1 in the country amongst active goalkeepers. .48 seconds between our 2 goals officially. Robbins and Albert doing the honors for their respective teams in the 13th and 14th minutes of this one. That's got us at 1-1 in the second semifinal tonight. Winner moving on to Sunday's final to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. Echegini back to help defensively on the free kick for Florida State. And you wonder, too, if it will have an impact as this one goes on. Notre Dame having to play on Sunday, and not only play, but play through overtime and into a shootout before disposing of the Pitt Panthers. And Florida State had the bye, a little more rest coming into the tournament as the 2 seed.
And that's something we were curious about in the first game as well with North Carolina. It had only been a week off, but would they be able to find their rhythm quickly? I mean, with Duke playing against Virginia on the road, how would they handle that coming into this game? And really both teams getting off to a good start in that one before, you know, having to drop to 10 players and play down a player for each side. This game, both teams getting into a rhythm immediately, and we knew coming in that the midfield battle would be a strong point in this game, and who could really control the central parts of the field. Already both teams having some good looks, getting Nice-Wanger on the ball. Talked about Albert, her ability to find some space, particularly outside of Nesbeth, the holding midfielder for Florida State. That will be some of the areas that Korbin Albert will look to occupy throughout this 90 minutes.
Payne loves to forge a path forward when given the opportunity. Here is Albert with a ton of space in front of her, has Wingate to her right, 3 defenders around her. Too many in the end for her to keep hold of the ball. And you wonder for Florida State how much we'll see Claire Robbins have to come back and help fill that space around Nesbeth, play more of a defensive role in the midfield.
Well, if they get the balance right, that is Korbin Albert obviously dropping off of the back line of Florida State. So can a defender step into that space and deny her ability to be able to get faced up and allow for Robbins to be able to stay higher up the field in more advanced positions? She's going to have to be recognized early in the run of play and communicated early by Florida State.
Nice-Wanger, and Brown is offside, and I guess the goal would suggest Robbins will certainly find her moments to get forward as needed, scoring the first one of this match in the 13th minute.
Well, and to take that a little bit further too, I think it's going to be Florida State trying to keep more of the possession so they don't have to defend, just making sure they have the balance behind them correct, and that they're not leave themselves exposed defensively for players like Wingate to get in behind in those 1v1 situations where she has been so dangerous.
Notre Dame is looking to make its first ever appearance in the final if they can find their way past Florida State tonight. The Irish joining the ACC in 2013. This is their 3rd appearance in the semifinal. Have yet to get a win in this round. They make the first change of the match. We knew we'd see number 3 before too long. Maddie Mercado, the starter throughout most of the season, makes her way onto the field in place of Honstein.
On for Notre Dame.
And with that change, we are going to see Albert just drop into her preferred attacking midfield role, and Mercado will sit up next to Wingate. And we'll see actually how that changes things. Does Nate Norman feel that they have enough control of this game to be able to continue to sit 2 attacking midfielders higher up the field and not have to have a player like Honstein cover in behind for the runners like Nice-Wanger and Claire Robbins?
Gatino looks straight up the middle for Mercado. Was quickly met by Robbins. Mercado quickly finding her way onto the ball a couple of times. Van Zanten. Turn available to her. Then the nice move to get past Nesbeth. She gets all the way to the edge of the area. Mercado picks it up. Kati Drazina going to the end line, looking for the corner, and they'll get it. First of the match for either team.
And they have such a variety of ways that they can attack Notre Dame, whether it's over the top and behind, whether it's hold-up play or driving, dribbling at the back line. And it's Van Zanten that leads the attack on this opportunity that leads to the set piece for Notre Dame.
two set-piece specialists really on the field tonight. Albert is one of them for Notre Dame. Neiswanger is another for Florida State. Albert delivers it toward the back post. Gattino, always a target in those situations, has one goal on the season. It came off a corner kick. Feels kind of quiet out here now after the raucous first match, which of course much shorter distance for many of those North Carolina and Duke fans to travel to get here to take in that first semifinal.
These fans should have stayed though. They're in for a match. Or got a couple goals in this first half.
Then they want to scout the opposition, you think? See what North Carolina's going to get on Sunday. Mercado, couple of step overs, takes the shot. That would have been one for the highlight reels for sure had she been able to finish it off.
Well, those are the moments I'm talking about. Individual ability to take players on when there's not an option to go in combination play. You have players that can take on 1v1 and then look for shots from distance. That one's always rising, but Mercado making her presence felt as a substitute in this game.
Another change for the Irish. Ellie Aspect, number 5, coming in on that far wing-back side, taking the place of Drazina. Different feel to this game, to be sure, than the regular season meeting where Florida State was on a road trip that saw them on Thursday take on the Virginia Cavaliers and use an early goal from Jody Brown to get a win. Then on Sunday go to Notre Dame when they just got pummeled 4-0. Great ball work and passing here from the Seminoles in tight spaces. Neiswanger got that one blocked a little bit as it made its way in.
Yeah, and there's a tight little combination play, and you can see Florida State wants to go with numbers. And you know, we talk a lot about Echegini, we talk about Brown and Neiswanger coming out, but Olsen doesn't get enough credit for her back-to-goal play, allowing for others to join into the attack, just constantly being an outlet in a threat right in front of the back three of Notre Dame. A player to look out for throughout this 90 minutes because she draws attention to herself, and that frees up Brown and Echegini to be able to get in behind quickly.
Yeah, the numbers not quite as high for Olsen this year as they were last year. And now she's going to need some time as she just had to sit down. You could see she was laboring last few minutes prior to that whistle being blown. She led the Seminoles last year in the national championship season with 14 goals and 1 assist. Her number's 5 goals, 2 assists this season. So both teams will have a moment here to collect themselves. Interesting, Notre Dame is over on the sideline talking with their coaches. Florida State was out on the field talking amongst themselves. Now they'll come over and talk with their head coach, Brian Pensky. You see Nate Norman, the ACC Coach of the Year, talking to his team. Let's see if we can get a look at what happened, perhaps, to Olsen. Well, actually, that's just when she sat down. Obviously, she was hurt at some point, either before that or who knows, maybe even coming into the match. It's a long season, and a lot of these players probably carrying some sort of little injuries that they have just toughened up and dealt with as the season has gone on.
Good opportunity, though, for both teams to be able to speak with their head coaches. Fairly even match, both teams having some decent looks on goal, and a lot of credit to Notre Dame, though, bouncing back quickly within a minute to equalize and then have really continued to find some space in those central areas.
Well, the good news is Olsen looks like she is just about ready to come back in as soon as she gets waved in by the official.
Seminoles substitution.
Or not. Looks like they will make the substitution for her. And it is actually Caitlin Zapay who's getting ready to come in.
She replaces number 9, Deanna Olsen.
So Olsen will not be able to return in this first half. Could see her, of course, in the second half if she is feeling all right. Nice swanger, put that ball forward. You could see Zapay, the player who came running in a late run to it. Everybody's eyes on Echegini, who was closest to the ball initially.
And that substitution will move Echegini into the midfield, or excuse me, into the central role, and Zapay will sit on the left wing.
Have you felt, Lori, that this Florida State team has been a lot different? I mean, they've had similar success to years past under Mark Krikorian, but now that they've gone through a whole season, we've gotten to see him a good number of times. Anything that stands out to you as being different in this group than what we've seen before?
Well, the one thing that I think, and we've talked about this throughout the season, is their ability to be more direct in their play. They still want to play in possession. They want to build up and combine. We've seen that already, whether it's in the build-up play or more in the final third. But they do have the option to go more direct in behind, and they'll look for that more clearly than we've seen in years past. And I think it's given them a different dimension. If things aren't going their way in terms of build-up, then they can go long and exploit teams in different ways. And it's really credit to Brian Pinsky. I mean, there's been a few things that we've seen in terms of what he's changed. One, Nesbeth sitting in the holding midfield position. How good has she been to lock things down defensively? Typically in years past, more of an attacking player. And then Echegini, bringing her in, coming over from Mississippi State. Not easy for players to, first-time players come in and join a team, but what a bright spot she has been, added so much to the attack. And one of those players that's allowed them to be more direct.
Seminoles 8-2-0 in conference play, identical record to the North Carolina Tar Heels to tie for the regular season title. That's their 5th championship in the regular season. Mercado, another step over, likes that move to give herself a look. Bounces off of Roque, but nobody there to follow up for Notre Dame. Referee will say it did go out of bounds though, so it'll be a corner kick for the Irish.
And this is something that Florida State's gonna need to be mindful of, because it is that space on the outside of Nesbeth, or right in between the back line and the midfield line for Florida State, where Notre Dame's starting to have a lot of success, whether it's Albert picking up Mercado, who's come in, dropping off the back line to be able to get faced up and take these shots from distance. Earning them another corner kick in this game off the deflection of Roque.
Another opportunity for Albert. Gattino. Van Zanten tried to sneak one through traffic. You can hear everybody telling Zapay to go, get out on the break. The Irish recover.
But they have to be smart when they break out with Zapay, looking for the initial pass to connect, because we can already see the attack to defend transition for Notre Dame, one of the best in this conference. So quickly to get numbers behind the ball, committed as a team. They do well just to stall that attack from Zapay and then try to go out the other side. A little bit of an errant pass, but well done for Notre Dame in this game. And really have had the better of the opportunities, and a lot of that has come from their defensive presence.
Irish out shooting the Seminoles 4-2. Both teams with 2 shots on goal and 1 goal apiece. Those coming less than a minute apart in the 13th and 14th minutes. Florida State, Claire Robbins, who's getting the ball now, scoring first. She's looking for Ron Ewai. Robbins knew exactly where she wanted to go, but Gattino onto it as well for Notre Dame defensively.
Well, fantastic look from Claire Robbins, just understanding that's the space. Hit it quickly and see if you can get runners underneath. That time it's Ewai, the left back for Florida State.
Gilchrist sends it across. Payne Knocked off the ball. Zapay calling for it, gets it for the Seminoles. Payne, one touch to Echegini, brings it down beautifully. Echegini, was she tripped? Oh yeah, penalty kick on the way for Florida State.
Well, it's a dangerous ball in, and then Echegini knows exactly where the pressure is, takes it down wonderfully off her chest, and then baits the defender of Gattino. Here's the initial touch from Echegini, baits Gattino, and then draws the foul. Clear penalty kick on Echegini.
It'll be Heather Payne to step to the spot for Florida State. The Seminoles did miss a penalty kick in the regular season meeting between these two teams. That was Niswonger. Payne is 2 for 2 from the spot on the season.
Number 12, Heather Payne, to take the PK.
Payne puts the Seminoles back out in front.
And the attempt is good.
Well, all the credit to Echegini. She's the player that moved from the left wing into the central role. Once Olsen came out, just gets herself in a great position to take this one down, understands where the pressure is, turns on Gattino, draws the foul, sets her team up for a penalty kick, and then Heather Payne makes no mistake about this one. It's Wood that goes one way, her kick goes the other, just slots it into the near post to put Florida State up for the second time in this game, 2-1.
My goodness, there was just so much that was so well done by Echegini to even create that opportunity. I mean, she just put one of the best defenders in the conference, who was named Defender of the Year, Gattino, in a really bad spot. You could see Gattino's face after, saying, what else was I supposed to do? She turned and was beat.
And it goes back to what we've been saying about this Florida State team and just their versatility up top and what they offer. And you know, we talk a lot about them playing a bit more direct than years past under Mark Krikorian, and a lot of that has to do with Echegini and Brown being able to threaten in behind. But they are so wonderful at understanding back to goal, when to bait the pressure, get other players involved, or be able to spin and use that pressure to their advantage. So Echegini do that to perfection to draw that foul. Just the awareness of where the space is inside the 18-yard box.
And interestingly, the Irish only faced that one penalty from Niswonger during the regular season. And when they went to the shootout against Pitt in the quarterfinal, it was actually Ashley Naylor who came off the bench and manned the goal for the shootout. Both teams making some substitutions. Katie Coyle coming in on the wing, replacing Martinez for Notre Dame. And then Florida State, a couple of changes as well. Maria Alagoa, number 18, sophomore out of Portugal, and number 17, Emma Bissell, sophomore out of the United Kingdom. Jody Brown, Jenna Niswonger both getting an opportunity to get a little rest here in the first half. Seminoles retaking the lead from the penalty spot in the 32nd minute. Notre Dame had such a wonderful response the first time they were scored upon in this match. coming back and scoring a goal of their own 48 seconds later.
And just that last ball from Gattino, we've seen her play those a few times, straight up the midfield into the feet of Mercado or Albert.
Ball across, follow up was Osbeck.
But it's those balls from Gattino that Notre Dame needs to continue to look for, because there is space right in front of the back line of Florida State that they're leaving themselves exposed in. Outside of Nesbeth, we talked about Florida State only playing with the one holding midfielder, Nesbeth. So can they get players to overload those areas, whether it's dropping off the back line for Notre Dame?
Mercado and Wingate working together here. Also Osbeck getting in on the fun. Back in the middle for Wingate.
And that's the exact area that starts with it's Mercado Wingate combining, finds Osbeck out wide, and then a good delivery, just keeps it on the carpet. Wingate knows and has the presence of mind where Osbeck is, keeps this one low to find Wingate on the return, just gets underneath it, sends it over the crossbar, but good intervention defensively as well.
Third corner played short this time from Albert to Osbeck. Albert will get it back. One move, uses her left through traffic, and Roque has it saved.
And it feels like there is another level for Notre Dame. They're finding some space, and now it's about even better opportunities on frame. Again, it's Albert getting faced up 1v1. Been such a dangerous player. Looks to fire from distance. Roque sees it the entire way, but have players around ready to pounce on any sort of a rebound that Roque might give up.
You know, I was reminded, Lori, of that regular season finale that we called for Notre Dame on their home field. They went down twice in that match to the Duke Blue Devils, and twice came back to tie. Korbin Albert getting the brace. That one eventually finishing 2-2. No ties allowed in the postseason, however.
Yeah, there is really a resiliency about this Notre Dame team. And a lot of that starts with their defensive structure, making teams uncomfortable, pressing at times, getting players committed behind the ball when necessary, as we're seeing right now, and really not afraid to put in the work.
Payne back in the middle. Robbins is there. Claire Robbins, two-time national champion, has been a part of each of the last two NCAA championship teams for the Seminoles, 2018 and of course last year in 2021. Mercado wants some whip. Now Wingate can turn back toward goal. Irish trailing the Seminoles. Florida State 2-0 all-time in the ACC tournament against the Fighting Irish. And let's be honest, I mean, this has been Florida State's stage really over the last decade or so, winning 8 of the last 11 ACC championships under new management this year, but their sights set on the same goal.
One would use the word dominant.
I think that would apply, yes. Robbins looked down, found the ball at her feet. I think perhaps that was intended to set up Echegini. Instead, it winds up with Wood.
And really, we've seen Notre Dame with the majority of the possession in this game. And it's Florida State who are looking to just make traps defensively around the field and look to see if they can catch Notre Dame on some of the counterattacks. And it's Claire Robbins at the heart of that one. Just too heavy of a pass to try to find Ejigini. And there will be times for them just to slow things down, find themselves up 2-1 in this half. Can they slow things down, not allow for Notre Dame to be able to build and find their key players?
Another good chance was brewing there for the Irish with Osbeck and Mercado. To your point, those are exactly the type of moments you'd like to try to avoid when you're sitting on a 2-1 lead.
Now, we did know coming into this game, Brian Pinsky said point blank, we have to have better structure defensively. Left ourselves way too exposed in that 4-0 loss earlier in the season. Notre Dame certainly exploited those areas, whether it was on the run of out of the run of play, players taking on 1v1, and you certainly see them locking things down, playing a little bit tighter defensively, which is resulting in them having to look to go more direct in the attack, especially with Olsen and Neiswanger already off as substitutes in this game.
That match in South Bend was on October 9th, the 4-0 win for Notre Dame over Florida State. It was the Seminoles' first loss of the season. They started off with 11 straight unbeaten. And that was really in the midst of their most difficult stretch, Florida State, where they played at Virginia, at Notre Dame, home against Duke, home against North Carolina. They earned that ACC co-championship for sure, coming through that stretch with 2 wins, 2 losses. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew will be down the road in Raleigh to get you set for another full day of football. They'll have halftime shows, pre- and post-game shows throughout the day, and then at 6:30 you'll get a complete wrap-up of the afternoon's games, and they'll get you set for the primetime matchup between Wake Forest and NC State on ACCN at 8. Albert once again at the corner for Notre Dame. A 4th of this first half for the Irish. We'll go ahead and make it 5 as she'll try again. Play it short and quick, maybe a little too quick. It needs to be from the other side, the referee says. So Albert will have to make her way over to the other corner. Albert, diving header to clear by Robbins, put back toward the goal, and Roque tapped it over the crossbar. Good look for Notre Dame, and they'll get another.
And we saw this a few times in the first game too, Jen. Just the second phase, once it's cleared out, what defensively do you look like? This one's put back. Good positioning from Roque, just to tip it over the crossbar. But Gray in a good position. Looks like she's trying to loft this one into the mix.
Caroline Gray had just come into the match, a junior out of Johns Creek, Georgia, replacing Lainey Matriano. There she is on the ball. A couple of minutes, minute and a half left in this first half. Shot from distance from Klinke, not going to challenge Roque.
And Florida State will be happy giving that space away, just knowing that they have things locked down defensively. And that will certainly be something I feel Notre Dame head coach Nate Norman will talk about going into the half. Just be a bit more patient in their possession. Florida State is giving you that long-range shot. You either have to get it on frame or keep recycling the ball, look for a better option.
The referee's going to stop the clock here and at least have a few extra words. Be smart. There's about 30 seconds left that
No red cards.
Yeah, no red cards, this is about the time in the match when we saw our first one in the first semifinal for Duke. Just a talking to this time around, and now the restart from the Seminoles. Payne hard to hem in on that far side, loves to get forward. Seminoles still bouncing it around. But it looks like Florida State will be the team in the lead here after our first 45 minutes. They took the lead, conceded it less than a minute later, and then got it back from the penalty spot. And you can see Florida State, yep, they've been pretty good when leading at halftime over the last few years. No changes for the Seminoles as they get ready to start half number 2. One change for Notre Dame from their starting 11. Maddie Mercado remains on the field. We saw her come on about halfway through that first half. A regular starter this season for the Irish, replacing Honstein. Notre Dame in Navy running back toward their own goal to start this second half. Florida State on the attack. So that front three, and good to see Olsen back out there after we saw her come off in a bit of pain in the first half. Olsen in the middle, Brown, Echegini around her. Van Zanten and Payne getting tangled up there. Foul called on Heather Payne. Leah Klinke, all ACC freshman team selection for the Irish this season. And you wonder, is there an Olivia Wingate moment to be had? Saw Korbin Albert have her moment, can see how quickly she can create for Notre Dame. Wingate really the other piece of that attacking puzzle for the Irish. Olsen has Robbins wide open. 5 ACC tournament goals for Robbins now in the last 3 years. She got the scoring started for the Seminoles in the 13th minute of this one. Such a contrast in terms of where these two teams have been in the ACC tournament in the past. Florida State dominant, as you said a couple of times, Lori, in the first half, winning 8 of the last 11. So they're quite used to not only being here, but winning here. And Notre Dame has never been to the championship match in the ACC tournament. Well, they have an opportunity to fight back and get there. In fact, just one win all-time for the Irish in their ACC tournament history, albeit that's a much shorter history than for the Seminoles. The Irish joining the ACC in 2013. Back heel from Neiswanger to Robbins. Robbins had a lot of the ball in the first half, not so much Neiswanger. She was kept quiet. The ACC's assist leader by this Notre Dame defense.
And that's part of the luxury that Florida State has, is when Neiswanger's drawing a lot of attention with her ability to be able to play the final pass, assist in the run of play, then Claire Robbins has a bit more of a freedom to be able to find the ball. And Claire Robbins with the go-ahead goal initially in this game, and then also just helping move the ball side to side for Florida State. And at the moments when they did have some of the possession, Robbins was at the heart of it. We've seen here in these early moments of the second half as well.
Had 2 options there. Olsen touches it forward to Echegini in the box. Gatino stride for stride. Wood makes the big save. Is there another to be had? Neiswanger too high.
was the positioning from Claire Robbins that starts this to be able to receive, get on the half turn, just feathers the ball, and then the understanding of Olsen, the presence of mind, just to one-touch it to release Echegini in, and then that's a huge save from Wood, coming off her line, making herself big. Good defending from Gattino as well to offset the balance of Echegini as she's going to look to find another goal in this game. And then Niswonger with the follow-up, just couldn't adjust her feet in time. That one was always rising, but good attack from Florida State. And defending that matches that attack from Notre Dame just to offset and to keep this game at 2-1.
When you think about Gattino going up against Echegini, those two were involved when the penalty was called in the first half for Florida State. Better job this time, Gattino, staying clean, staying with Echegini stride for stride. Niswonger didn't have it long before Van Zanten came to greet her. EY. Those players both down. EY, and I believe it may be Martinez for Notre Dame.
Just a loose challenge. EY does get the ball, but if she's coming through, also gets a good portion of Martinez. Both of those players, good to see them back up and walking.
Martinez had the clinching penalty kick in the quarterfinal round for Notre Dame. The Irish were perfect 5 for 5 in their shootout against Pitt. The Panthers had one miss, and that was all it took to open the door for the Irish to advance. Brown. Echegini again peeling off, finding some space in the box, and Florida State is really getting some good looks right now against the Irish.
And it's so slick from Jody Brown, who finds herself in more of a central role to pick this ball up and just is looking to play it off, but then takes the space herself. Just slots the ball through for Echegini. Those two linking up, such a deadly combination, and it sets them up for another corner kick in this game.
Yeah, just the first actually for the Seminoles, if you can believe it. Gives Niswonger an opportunity to get this all started. Robbins and Wood collide. Not Robbins, excuse me. I think that's Nesbeth. Came flying in, tried to get her head bravely onto the ball, and she and Wood came full force into one another.
Well, and just watch the movement of Nesbeth. As soon as this ball is played back in from EY, just understands where the space is on the half turn, and then through traffic, you see the three players of Notre Dame around Nesbeth, gets on the end of it, but Wood, once again off her line, making herself big.
Kati Drazina sees Korbin Albert, ACC Midfielder of the Year. Wingate now waiting for it with her left. The shot, the save. Roque, the Goalkeeper of the Year. First time that award was handed out, and about time, I should say, in the ACC. She won it for the Seminoles this year. Olsen finds Niswonger. Echegini beats everybody down the far side. Now Notre Dame retreats, has a couple to help defensively.
And this is the Florida State soccer that we're used to. It's direct at times when needed, quick into the attack, and then this slow things down, keep sustained possession when necessary. And it's forcing Notre Dame to be more in a defensive posture in these opening 10 minutes of the second half than we really saw in the first half.
Brown, edge of the area. You remember Notre Dame out shooting Florida State in the first half, doubled them up. And now we are even, 9 shots apiece, and it'll be another corner kick chance for Niswonger, who has 3 assists off of corner kicks this season. And 1 goal to add to that, scored 1 directly from the corner. That happening in a match against Boston College. Headed back down, and Wood grabs it at the near post.
Well, you can see by the ball that was played in from Niswonger why she has 3 assists. It's so dangerous that time. In swinger to the far post, and the way that Olsen moved her feet to be able to snap that one back down. A good glimpse of Florida State and how dangerous they can be off of dead balls.
Here is Niswonger again, ACC leader in assists. 13 this year for Niswonger, as she earned all ACC first team honors. Payne. Matriano took one to the head, but still the Seminoles are coming. Niswonger couldn't make good contact. EY carries it over to Niswonger. Olsen. Tough to get a clean look for Florida State, but they do continue to earn some corners.
Corner kick for Florida State.
There may not be a better delivery in the ACC, perhaps in the country, than what you see from Niswonger. Although Albert makes a good case for Notre Dame as well. Wood calling for it, punches. Payne, one touch now, unleashes with the left.
And I only laugh because you can see the reaction from Heather Payne, throws her head up in the air. What a great move to initially allow herself to get off that shot, but just slices through and ends up going out for actually a throw-in.
Rather odd. Not exactly what you typically see after a shot.
I mean, you know, we heard Nate Norman at the start of this half talking about tweaking their press a little bit, and you know, one of the things that I felt like got them a lot of success in the first half was pressing higher up the field, picking off some opportunities, and they had numbers centrally that allowed them to overload Nesbeth, who we've talked about sitting in that defensive midfield role for Florida State, and really now they're sitting back a bit deeper for Notre Dame, and it's allowed Florida State to have a majority of the attack, a majority of the possession, and Notre Dame not much in way of getting into advanced positions.
If you look at the setup right now, it was only Wingate. Still, the ball falls to her. It was 1-on-3. Wingate still making something of it. Lauren Flynn, member of the ACC All-Tournament team last year. Most experienced on that back line for the Seminoles. Ball on the ground. Albert picks it up, takes it with her left. Korbin Albert scores again. A brace for Albert, tie game.
Well, oh my goodness, Korbin Albert, just a bit of magic to set herself free, and then once again from distance, just hits this so cleanly to the far post. And just as we were talking about tweaking the press a little bit, comes from a poor clearance. Notre Dame's in a good position, Korbin Albert in particular, to receive this ball. Just clips it over Echegini, it looks like, to buy herself a little bit of time to get it onto the left foot, and then look at that, through traffic. Roque doesn't see it till the end, and that one's already in the top corner to tie this game at 2. What a strike from Korbin Albert, second one of the game. This one ties it for Notre Dame, find themselves even, and you wonder what kind of intensity now and energy this provides for Notre Dame, team that sat back in these opening minutes of the second half.
Irish on the attack again. They've got another! Before Florida State can even blink, Notre Dame tacks on another goal, makes it 3-2.
And the reactions on the sideline for Notre Dame, I think are the exact same reactions we're having here in the booth. What exactly just happened? Korbin Albert picking this ball up again, just finds herself driving at the back line and then gets it onto her left foot. Here she is picking the ball off of Nesbeth, drives in the back line, baits it under the defender, and then look at Roque. Just sees it, has to watch it go into the back of the net, because this one What another clean strike, this time with a little bit of bend, finds the upper corner. Third one of the night for Korbin Albert, 3 for Notre Dame. What a performance by number 2 in the midfield for Notre Dame.
How special is that? A hat trick in the ACC Semifinal, trying to get the Irish to their first ever championship game in the ACC. They won plenty of Big East titles in their time in that league, but have not had a chance to win an ACC championship. But Korbin Albert with goals 27 seconds apart tying the game and then giving her team the lead.
Well, it's the exact question we talked to Nate Norman coming into this half about, that space on the outside of Nesbeth. Who can exploit it? How do you get players? He said, drive at the back line, pick up balls, and it's been Albert finding that space, taking it, and then unleashing shots from distance that are finding the back of the net. 3 unanswered goals from Korbin Albert. And what a performance from the young midfielder.
She's going for it again, and why not? This one, a bouncing save made by Roque. Talk about turning a game on its head, too. I fully agree with you that Florida State had been on the attack. They'd been the more dangerous team. Here they come now, trying to get behind. Catino goes to ground, but not a runner on the near post that could get to that ball from Heather Payne.
Well, they certainly looked like they were willing just to absorb the pressure, absorb the attack from Florida State in the first 10 minutes. And then look to break out on the counterattack through Wingate. They do such a good job on both sides of the ball in transition. Notre Dame just filled in the gaps underneath Wingate when they first broke out initially on the second goal from Korbin Albert, and then just regained possession from their defensive posture that they had in the attack and allowed for the turnover and then the goal.
Nesbeth charging her way through for Florida State. Brown. Thought it off by Van Zanten, who just tries to see it out of bounds and does well to do just that.
And we mentioned in the first half, Jen, about Notre Dame feeling like they have another level in them to be able to exploit some of the space that's being left open from Florida State. But you also get that feeling in this game and in this half from Florida State. Every time they get into the attack, they have the willing runners, whether they're Echegini, Brown on the dribble. There does feel like there's still another level and more goals in this game.
You feel it?
Make it up for the first game.
Yeah, 5 goals already between these two teams. We were without a goal through 110 minutes between Duke and North Carolina. That one going to a shootout before the Tar Heels eventually surviving and advancing to the championship game.
And this is much more of the pressure and the defensive structure that we're used to seeing Notre Dame throughout this season, just higher up the field, defending on the front foot, forcing Florida State to be uncomfortable in their own half and to create the turnovers. And then you have players in and around the ball, numbers overload centrally that allows for players like Albert or even Van Zanten to get on it in those positions in between the lines where they can exploit.
On for the Irish.
Ellie Osbeck's come back into the match for Notre Dame, replacing Drazina. I remember the regular season after Notre Dame beat Florida State in that convincing 4-0 game in South Bend. And Nate Norman, after that game, told his team, this is the standard now. This is what we expect to do. And now you look at these two teams coming in here, that's the seeds you see in the upper left corner of your screen, our graphic. But it could very easily also be their rankings in this one. Right now, nationally, Notre Dame ranked number 4, Florida State ranked number 5. So this is a top 5 matchup. It feels that way, the way these two are going at it, and Notre Dame proving they are every bit as much in this class with Florida State, a team that has dominated the ACC Championship over the last 10 or 11 years.
And he knows coming into this game that those regular season wins mean something, and it means how they are seeded in this ACC tournament, what that looks like postseason play after the ACC tournament as well. But he knows these wins are important because it puts you on the map. It shows that you consistently can beat the top teams. And that's their ambition, to get to a Final Four and do it consistently year in and year out.
Yeah, they'd love to be right back on this field. And about a month from now, this is where the College Cup will be for the women this year, back in Cary. First weekend in December. Well, Notre Dame and Florida State both with 3 national championships in their program histories, but Florida State's all much more recent. For the Seminoles, 2014, 2018, 2021. For Notre Dame, you have to go back a bit further, 1995, 2004, 2010. Caroline Gray back in the match. Saw her in the first half as well for Notre Dame, replacing Van Zanten in the midfield. Well, at the moment, it looked like Florida State was going to allow that ball to be passed around, but now they went for it. That's exactly what Notre Dame looked like they were waiting for as the Irish go forward. Notre Dame in control after goals 27 seconds apart from Korbin Albert, who has a hat trick tonight for the Irish. ACC Midfielder of the Year, showing up, showing out, putting her team in the lead. Wingate all alone, waits for help, does well. Mercado coming in. Mercado. Hospek going one-on-one against Payne. Not enough there to warrant any sort of a whistle. Be a goal kick for the Seminoles. Tomorrow we are talking field hockey for the championship in the ACC. That game coming your way at 2 Eastern on ACCN, and then on Sunday, men's soccer quarterfinals getting underway at 2. Everything all right here on ACCN and the ESPN app, the home of ACC championships. Our women's soccer championship will be at noon on Sunday. That'll be over on ESPNU. Wingate breezes past a couple of defenders. Has Mercado central, puts it behind her. Lori, how does Florida State take control of this game back? Because it felt like they had it there for the start, maybe the first 10 minutes or so of this second half.
We'll continue to defend, stay compact when necessary, but then find Neiswanger, find Claire Robbins, who have really been the playmakers of this team, and get them on the ball, running at the back line. But right now we're seeing a bit of shift.
Shot from distance, forced up and over. Okay, Lainey Matriano, freshman getting in on the fun.
And much like, exactly, and we're seeing, much like we saw Florida State start this game, put Notre Dame under pressure. Now we're starting to see Florida State drop off a bit, allowing for some of these long-range shots. Players wanting to get in the mix. They see loads of space. Why not go? Okay, has it covered the entire way. Just lifts that one over the crossbar. But step over the pressure. this Florida State team is best when they're higher up the field, turning teams over.
First corner of the second half for the Irish. Gatino heads it down,
22,
but out.
And still tons of time to play for both of these teams. Florida State just have to get a hold of the ball, particularly in the central areas, and then build from there and find their wingers in Echegini and Brown.
Lauren Flynn carry this as far as she can, trying to find Neiswanger, who's pretty much had Caroline Gray in her vicinity for most of the match since Gray's come on there. Before her, Van Zanten watching very closely what the number 2 for Florida State was up to.
And again, credit to Notre Dame because they've gone back to a bit more of the holding midfield position. We talked about Honstein coming into this game, starting, trying to nullify Robbins and Neiswanger, the 2 attacking mids for Florida State. And just locking things down defensively. In the last 10 minutes or so, did a really good job just to deny those 2 players for Florida State on the ball, and really the entry passes into them.
Katie Coyle, number 22, came on to replace Osbeck on this near side wing for the Irish. A lot more numbers back for Notre Dame at the moment as they try to hang on to this lead. Mercado hovering just below Wingate, brings it down. Just waits for Albert to come up into the fray. Albert on the hat trick. Takes her time, uses that left again. Already has 3 on the night. Korbin Albert looking for a little bit more.
And Nate Norman came into this game saying they want to make Florida State uncomfortable. Well, Albert has made this Florida State team uncomfortable. If shots from distance, that would be her initial one. This would be the second one to tie the game as well for the second time. And then this would be the go-ahead. Driving at the back line. Gets around a couple of defenders, and then look at that shot. Just curls it into the upper corner to put her team up 3-2. And this is why she is the ACC Midfielder of the Year. Just taking this team on her shoulders, putting them up 3-2 in the second half, and really just dominating the central areas in this game tonight.
First hat trick in the ACC tournament since, okay, it wasn't that long ago. It was 2020. Deanna Ordonez for Virginia, who went on, what a great year she had in the NWSL this year, was up for Rookie of the Year honors. Played right here on this field with the North Carolina Courage.
In the timestamp 57-57.
Yeah.
Literally scored, then still the ball was scored again.
I was literally still looking down, trying to write down the details of the second goal, and then the third one came right on its heels.
I saw it.
Thank you. I'm glad you had my back. I was waiting for your goal call, though.
It's in.
Florida State has had some difficulty recovering from that 1-2 punch combination from Korbin Albert, who now has 11 goals in her last 8 games. Time ticking away on the Seminoles. Ball in a ton of space, so here for Payne. Zippes come in off the bench. Alagoa also in for Florida State.
And there's just a real commitment, a real belief to this Notre Dame team. Coming back 2 times, being down in this game. Go ahead goal from Korbin Albert for her 3rd. And sometimes you just need that bit of magic from one player, especially when you're new on this scene against an experienced Florida State team. Knows what it takes to win these games, and those are the moments that help really solidify a program, put them back on the map. We're seeing a really terrific, committed performance all around from Notre Dame right now.
Emma Bissell whistled for the foul for Florida State. And Notre Dame with player down. Lainey Matriano now up to her feet, getting a little stretch out there from Gattino. So she will jog off, and looks like she'll be okay to come back in if needed. Van Zanten back on the field for Notre Dame. And Tati Drazina as well, a couple of starters. Sophia Fisher, number 11, is on for Mercado, who's been really good in the attack, helping to connect with Wingate, find Albert as needed. And actually it looks like Drazina and Fisher still waiting to check in, not out there just yet. Gattino taking no chances, puts it out of bounds. Payne trying to get out of the corner. We'll get a throw in. Robbins. Nice texture on the ball, and Zapay is able to get there. Alagoa, sophomore from Portugal. Wood comes out, punches, doesn't get it clear. Florida State has tied it up.
Well, Florida State knew coming into this game if they could get good delivery from wide areas, it could put Notre Dame in some precarious positions facing their own goal. It's Olsen that's wide open on the far post, makes the initial challenge, and then the follow-up play. There's initial ball in, and then it's Bissell that follows up, just a slotted home pass Wood for the tying goal. And here's the initial delivery in, first time ball. Great positioning from Olsen to make the challenge, keep the ball alive. And then Bissell in a great position on the far side as well. All she needs to do is tap it in.
Third goal of the season for Emma Bissell, the sophomore out of the United Kingdom. And life for the Seminoles now as we are back even 3 goals apiece in the second semifinal. From Cary, North Carolina tonight, Jen Hildreth, Lori Lindsay, our crew working hard for you here on ACCN to bring you this ACC Championship. North Carolina and Duke needed more than 90 to decide a winner in the first semifinal. They went to overtime and then to penalty kicks after that with the Tar Heels advancing. They'll face the winner of this one on Sunday.
Notre Dame 3, Florida State 3.
And Caroline Gray, who's come in number 27 for Notre Dame, has done a really good job just with her positioning, playing simply.
Albert just about made it 4. Roque kept it out.
I mean, you can't make it up. You cannot. What is happening?
It's so much fun.
Every time Korbin Albert is on the ball, there looks like there's going to be a goal, and this time it's Roque moving her feet just at the last second to see the ball. They'll keep this one out of the back of the net because that is a tough angle. Gets the shot off. There's the movement of Roque to be able to get her right hand up and keeps that one, just ricochets it off of the crossbar herself, keeps it out of the back of the net, and that was a close call again. Korbin Albert looking for her 4th of the game. I don't think I've ever said that before.
Yeah. Well, which foot do you even try to keep it off of for her? She scored with both tonight. Alagoa crosses to the ball first for Florida State. Cannot get the corner. And now Fisher and Drazina in the match for the Irish. This final 15 should be interesting.
And back to my previous point before Albert almost unleashed the goal from distance on us, is Caroline Gray, who's come in, really just simplified the game for the Fighting Irish, just sitting back, providing a bit more cover in front of the back three defensively, and then just spraying the ball wide when necessary. And it's really allowed more players to get into advanced positions, in particular Albert have a bit more of a free roll because she has that cover behind her.
Drazina turns and looks, has Van Zanten in the middle. She'll take a shot. Not too much power behind it, but it'll be another save for Roque. That's 9. And if you remember, Lori, we called the match for Florida State at Virginia, where they got 1 goal in the first minute from Jody Brown and then proceeded to hang on as the Cavaliers just poured on the offense. Roque had a career-high 10 saves in that one. Well, she's 1 away now from matching that in this ACC semifinal. Zapay, who will grab the momentum for these final 13.5 minutes. EY, nobody home on the other side.
But I like that ball in from EY because it's a dangerous ball, trying to find the far post. And once again, it's difficult for Notre Dame to have to deal with the marking in the box, facing their own goal.
Zapay. Olsen hunting for it, the follow-up. Alagoa couldn't get everything on it. Jenna Neiswanger had been on the bench for the Seminoles. She makes her way back in, replaces Alagoa. ACC assist leader, all ACC first team selection now back on the field for Florida State. Van Zanten broke it up. The Irish trying to reach their first ever ACC final. Florida State trying to get back where they belong. They feel they belong anyway. They've certainly earned it over the last few years. Winning the last 2 ACC championships, 8 of the last 11. EY got a move, got the shot, too high.
And this is better from Florida State, just starting to move the ball around. We're seeing them be on the front foot more, trying to pin Notre Dame back. Good position once the ball is turned over as well to be able to regain possession in their own attacking half. Very much the similarities to how they started the second half, Jen. And really now it's Notre Dame, just with one player up top, Wingate, having to deal with the 3 backs left behind for Florida State.
Lainey Matriano came back on for Notre Dame, replacing Gray in the midfield just a couple of seconds ago. EY, she's gotten on the ball a lot more these last few minutes for the Seminoles. Florida State early attacking in the second half. At one point, shots in the second half were 8 for Florida State, 1 for Notre Dame. Well, right now, it's 11 apiece. So the Irish really turning it on. Most notably with Korbin Albert firing away. Hat trick for Korbin Albert, 2 of her goals coming in the second half. Eight shots in the game for Albert, by the way, 7 of those on goal.
Another substitution for the Irish.
Maddie Mercado back on for Notre Dame. What a deep bench Nate Norman has at his disposal. Both of these teams have some good options off the bench, but it is a smaller roster for Florida State. It has been all season. That was one of the challenges. Brian Penske coming on a bit late in the process in the spring, and a lot of his players in the transfer portal weren't sure what was going to be going on. He had to re-recruit many of the Seminoles to come back. Not all did. So a smaller roster, just 21 for Florida State this year. But the ones they have proven to be really good. ACC co-champions for the Seminoles, now trying to play for the opportunity to defend their tournament championship. A lot of the starters coming back on now. Chigini, Brown, both back up in the front line for Florida State. Here is Jody Brown. Ball makes its way all the way up to Mercado at the front. She looks out wide for Drazina. Drazina keeps it toward her left. Little help from Brown. Fresh legs coming back to help defensively. Another substitute coming on for Notre Dame. It's Osbeck coming back into the match, replacing Martinez.
Replacing 16, Brianna Martinez. And Osbeck back on for the Irish.
Drazina uses her left. Roque comes flying out. Did bat that ball down, but Osbeck really only one for Notre Dame nearby. Didn't make a play on it. Well, Laura, you said earlier you felt like this game still had more goals in it. Do you still feel that way, or I hope, or the other?
We
option?
need those in the next 6 minutes. No, I certainly didn't. I mean, it's been a fun game, right? And I think we can see the quality on the field, the understanding where the space is. At times, we've seen many different shifts of each team pinning the other team back defensively, having a bit more of the possession of the ball and creating opportunities, and vice versa, really.
Here comes Albert. Watch out anytime she's got the ball. Hat trick for Albert. Van Zanten, nothing doing.
And both teams really showing their quality, though, defensively, and how committed they are to get numbers on the ball, because they do, on the other side, commit players forward. They want to attack, they want to get after teams, but then that results in having to work back on the other side of the ball, too, and really a fun back-and-forth game. But yes, I do feel like there's more goals.
Okay. All right, good. Rules change in college soccer this year. No overtime during the regular season at all. And when we do get it in the postseason, no longer do we have golden goal. If we go to overtime, it means we're playing 2 10-minute periods, no matter what. Just setting you up for that information, just in case it should come into play.
Still 5 minutes left, Jen.
The way this game has gone, especially in the second half.
Another 6 goals.
Who knows? been a great back and forth affair, very different than the regular season meeting, which was 4-0 Notre Dame. Shocked the Seminoles, handed Florida State their first loss of the season. Brown had Niswonger. Might have been a tough angle to get it there. Now the ACC assist leader has it. No foul called as Van Zanten took it away for a moment. EY back to Robbins. Payne. Olsen, the intended target, didn't get there. Another sub coming for Notre Dame. With just about 4 minutes to play. It is Wingate coming back in, leading scorer coming into this match for the Irish. She and Albert, the top two. Albert now with a hat trick, overtaking Wingate, but 11 goals for the All-ACC first team selection.
Back for the Irish.
Echegini, strong, hangs on to the ball, out to Olsen. Cleared out, it'll be a corner for Florida State. Their fourth of this second half, none in the first half for the Seminoles. And that means Jenna Niswonger time. At the near post. Freshman Gilchrist wants to keep it in play for her attacking players, but it'll go out for the goal kick. How much gas is left in the tank? Remember, Notre Dame had to play on Sunday, had to play into double overtime and through a shootout on Sunday against Pitt to get here. Florida State able to rest and watch as the 2 seed coming into the tournament. Olsen knocked down. This will be a free kick for the Seminoles, and that should once again set up an opportunity for Jenna Niswonger.
And it's Olsen just doing what she does best, using her body, understanding, just allows that ball to roll across, draws the foul. And with Niswonger's ability on set pieces, her delivery, this is a really good opportunity late in this game for Florida State.
Got Heather Payne there as well. Could see her step onto the play, but you would assume this will be Niswonger, and it is with the left, and really, in the end, a missed opportunity. Easy save for Wood. Albert to Wingate. Little slip as Wingate continues forward. That's the side of the net, though.
Well, just like that, Notre Dame from defense to attack. Wingate evades the first challenge from Jody Brown, buys herself a little bit of time. That one's always headed wide, but it's just a quick break into the attack for Notre Dame, and they've looked dangerous in a variety of ways in this game tonight.
We've had 37 shots in this game. We've had 6 goals, and we have less than a minute to see if we can find a winner in regulation. Do the Seminoles have something brewing here? Echegini, goals leader on the season for Florida State. Payne on the turn, 20 seconds and counting. Ball in the box, Brown touches down. It is out for a corner. Niswonger will hustle to get there to take this before time runs out.
And that's a service they have to continue to look for, as regular minutes of this game start to wind down. In the overtime, Florida State looks so good from those wide areas.
Well, it's a good thing we set you up for what happens in the postseason when you reach 90 tied. Because that's where we're headed, overtime.
Yeah, and that's the ball in. Looking from Payne, looking to see if she can find Jody Brown. And this is something they have to talk about if you're Florida State going into overtime to look for, because they've looked dangerous and been difficult for Notre Dame to defend those crosses.
Well, everybody can catch their breath, get a little snack if you need, and then come back for more, because we are all tied at 3 after regulation. Overtime on the way on the other side. They made the change this year to make it 2 10-minute periods, more closely mirrors a professional game, the international game. So that means we've got 2 no matter what. You are allowed 1 re-entry in the total of those 20 minutes between the 2 overtime periods in terms of subs. And then if we're still tied after that, kicks from the mark, as they like to say officially in the laws of the game. That's where we'd be headed. What do you say, Korbin Albert? Got a couple more in you? We'll see. What a match. 8 shots, 7 on goal, 3 goals for the super sophomore for the Fighting Irish.
And really just an incredible performance. Excellent strikes from distance. And all around from this Notre Dame team, we talked a lot about it, you know, in regulation time, Jen, but also coming into this match, how they were going to deal with being in the ACC tournament, knowing what this game means, putting themselves back into a standard of where this program has been in the past, knowing that they would have to get a win here, a second win against Florida State this season. And really, regardless of what happens in this match and the outcome, Notre Dame has certainly proven that they deserve to be in the talk of one of the best in the ACC.
Yeah, you see the seeds for these 2 teams. Florida State seeded 2nd in the tournament as ACC co-champions in the regular season with North Carolina. Notre Dame just behind those 2 teams, seeded 3rd. And these are both ranked in the top 5 right now as they head into overtime. Notre Dame on the ball, on the attack to start things off, and they will get an early corner.
And it's that space that Notre Dame has found all along, just popping off the back line in between the midfield and the defense. Mercado picks it up, and they're earning themselves another set piece in this game right off of the kickoff.
Korbin Albert from the corner. Could hear Roque call for it and got her hands just high enough. Snatch it out of the air. ACC Goalkeeper of the Year, 1 save off her career high. She's got 9 on the night. First time since 2010 that both semifinal matches of this ACC Championship have gone to overtime. Hope you brought some snacks if you've been with us since the beginning. We could use a few more up here, to be honest. It's pretty much always true, though, even if it only goes 90. At Cicchini. Back the Seminoles go. Nice swanger. Found Brown, but then Notre Dame able to take it away. Bree Martinez. Back to Hudson. ACC Defensive Player of the Year, Ava Gattino, goes out to Klinke, member of the all-freshman team. Boy, even a touch that's not quite right, Wingate can make something of. She got back onto it. Albert now on it, pulls it back, thought about it, now bends it around, but not enough. That one was just too open for her, maybe, based on what we've seen already in this match.
Well, good positioning from Albert defensively to be able to pick this ball off. And then it's just the understanding right here, just to look and then bait Nesbeth to get it onto her left foot. You can see what she's trying to do, just bend it to the upper corner, which we've already seen her do tonight.
I'm surprised she didn't just take it initially with that left foot. Once she baited Nesbeth, got her out of the way, she hesitated again. Look, if you've got a hat trick, don't hesitate. Just come on, bring it. Did you ever score any hat tricks?
Jen, stop with the questions.
The people want to know, Lori.
In rec league. Silence.
I mean, I feel like you could have done it.
Silence the crowd.
I had faith in you. Robbins has performed so well on this ACC Championship stage over the last few years. Tournament MVP the last 2 years. But boy, if we thought that first goal was going to be enough to establish anything in this game, we were wrong. Robbins had the first one in the 13th minute. 5 goals later, here we are in overtime. Martinez sizes up the space in front of her, opts for Mercado. Puts apart on the far side. Druzina. Kati Druzina, senior for this Notre Dame team out of Kirtland, Ohio. Missed her first season with the Irish in 2019 with an ACL tear. Come back, been a consistent starter last couple of seasons. Started every match last year as well as this one. Wingate just never seems to run out of energy.
No, she doesn't. And she also draws so much attention and has opened up the space. Because even if she's not going to get on the end of the ball, she's always sitting on the back shoulders of the 2 center backs for Florida State. And it's really allowed this game to open up. And we talked about Korbin Albert and the individual performances she's had. But a lot of that has to do with Wingate's movement and allow for the opportunities for Albert to be able to drive at the back line with time and space on the ball. It's a really good understanding of those front 3, including Mercado in that.
Payne's ball, got by Wood.
And including Mercado in that conversation up top.
Kenzie Wood, grad transfer, joining the Irish this year after 4 years at Northwestern, where she was a 4-year starter. Wingate. Flynn recovered, but still, here comes Mercado. Commits the foul, and will give the ball to Florida State.
And good cover from Florida State, because these two, Mercado and Wingate, best words to use, they're pests. Once they win the ball, then they're driving at you, but once it's turned over, they have pressure, they're forcing you to make mistakes. And well done from Florida State to keep their composure, have 3 back, just 1 to cover and provide the balance defensively.
Martinez slicing central, then back out as Wingate makes her run. Subs coming for both teams. 3 coming on. Zipe, Bissell, Alagoa for Florida State. 1 for Notre Dame is Osbeck, who's been in and out of this match on the wings, taking the place of Drozina this time around. was Bissell who had the equalizer in the 73rd minute that forced us into overtime. Osbeck immediately onto the ball after coming in the match.
Good positioning from Nesbeth just to follow up, provide the clearance. Both teams have had a lot of success when they do find the wide channels. Driving at the back line, good delivery.
Olsen will make a run for the ball, but it gets all the way to the goalkeeper. Wood, however, put it where Hudson couldn't reach it. Irish fortunate. Florida State didn't make more of that. Just over a minute to play in overtime period number 1. 10 more minutes coming after the completion of this first OT. Alagoa couldn't get to the ball before Laney Matriano did. Irish will have to try that again. Mercado, shifty to escape from Robbins. Osbeck, edge of the area. Sophia Fisher has her shot blocked. Last play of this first overtime period winds up in the gloves of Christina Roque. We need a little more time. 10 more minutes were coming anyway. We're still tied at 3-3. So I don't know about you, these players, they need a quick break. We need a quick break, so we'll take one. We'll be right back with our second overtime on the way from Cary. 3-3, we still stand in this match between Notre Dame and Florida State in the second of 2 semifinals played here in Cary, North Carolina tonight. The first one went all the way through both overtime periods scoreless, and then it went to a shootout between Duke and North Carolina. Tar Heels eventually prevailing 7-6 in that shootout to make their way to the final. They'll face the winner of this one on Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPNU. Korbin Albert has had quite the night. 9 shots, 7 of those on goal, and of course the hat trick. ACC Midfielder of the Year has been the star of the show, but Florida State still had more to say even after Albert really took things over with goals less than 30 seconds apart to put Notre Dame out in front 3-2 in the second half. Emma Bissell came back for the Seminoles to tie it in the 73rd minute, and here we are. Notre Dame did have all 4 shots in that first overtime period, none for Florida State. Wingate, she kept it in. Has the defense on the run. Flynn had to come over and help, and it's going to be a corner for the Irish.
Yeah, initially thought that ball on this near side was out, but well done for Wingate to continue with it. As you mentioned, Flynn having to track over, help defensively.
Albert from the corner for the Irish. Roque into traffic, makes the grab. Giveaway puts it right back at the feet of Notre Dame. In front of the goal it goes. Nobody able to get a foot on it. It skimmed about 3 or 4 yards away from the goal line. Triano.
Well,
Ball bounces out.
Yeah, and it's the pressure that we're used to seeing from Notre Dame throughout this entire season. Just lined up, and it's Nesbeth that plays a square ball that's picked off. And then look at this ball across the frame. No one gets to it. Not enough bodies in the box for Notre Dame. That one just sees it all the way through. And then an errant shot in the end. But it's that pressure from Notre Dame initially that's made them so difficult to play against as teams try to build out of their own half. It's really when Notre Dame's been at their best, have numbers around the ball and can attack.
They're attacking now with Wingate. Ran out of real estate and had nowhere really to put it. That wasn't covered by a Seminole. Florida State came into this match looking for some revenge after their 4-0 loss in South Bend in the regular season to the Fighting Irish. And Notre Dame looking for history, trying to make it through the semifinals for the first time. They're 0-2 in their first 2 appearances, losing in 2014 to Florida State, 2016 to North Carolina. Wingate has Ospect if she can get the ball away from the crowd. Here is Ellie Ospect, and off the bench for the Irish. He's played some important minutes tonight, whether it's been in place of Martinez or Drozina on the wing.
And the 2 holding mids for Notre Dame, a bit of a tweak in the system for Nate Norman's team, going from 1 holding to 2 in this game, just to keep Neiswanger, to be able to keep Robbins at bay. And they've done such a good job. Whoever's come in as substitutes, whether it's Gray as well, their positioning has been spot on. And as soon as the ball's turned over from the press, they're there in the build.
Martinez rifles it through. Olsen. Now it's the Seminoles charging forward. The Irish retreating back. Olsen still has it, edge of the area. Over to Jody Brown. Neiswanger left open. Her shot is wide. That may be one of the most open looks Florida State has had all night.
Well, for double overtime, there is such good energy still to this game. End to end, we see Notre Dame with quite a few attacks in these opening minutes, and then Olsen on a run on her own, and then picks out the right pass to find Jody Brown on the far side. But then just the patience, and this is where you want Neiswanger, right on top of the box, trying to bend that one into the far post. That doesn't miss by much.
You're so right, though. There is such good energy. I've just been amazed looking around. It's everybody. Everybody's still running hard.
We still have energy.
Well,
I don't know how.
We're working on it.
I'll take over play-by-play as well.
I'll just have a seat.
Actually, I don't know if I have energy. I'm just delusional.
That may be true as well. And if the players are dealing with any of that, they're not showing it. Kiki Van Zanten back on for the Irish, replacing Matriano in the midfield.
But credit to the coaches as well. We've seen them rotate players much more than we've seen throughout the regular season, and a lot of that just the anticipation of as the regular season was wearing down, or excuse me, as the regular time of this game is starting to wear down, knowing and anticipating overtime. But the level of play, consistent, both teams still trying to find ways to find the back of the net and create opportunities.
Well, just as we were saying, and all the players still running so hard, it clearly can catch up with you. A lot of minutes out there on the field, especially for some of those defensive players who don't leave the field, like Ron Ely, who's now getting stretched out for Florida State. Ely, Flynn, Payne, Nesbeth, Gilchrist, they've all been out there for the entirety of this match, along with Robbins.
It does look like it's Wynn that's coming in to replace EY. And this is a player that played quite a few minutes, especially when Heather Payne was out for international duty.
Substitution.
But it is something that Notre Dame should take note of late in this game. Less than 5 minutes to go. A player just coming in. Can they drive at her, take her on 1v1?
Yeah, it's a tough spot for anybody to come in, especially when you're a freshman and you haven't played at all in the match. Oh, Payne hit the ground hard on that, just went up and was undercut as she was coming down. Hudson has Osbeck on that far right side now. Grazina on this near side on the wing for Notre Dame. Mercado in the middle. Wingate flaring out to the right. That's where the ball goes. Albert trailing the play, but Wingate getting into the box on her own.
And this is the second play that we've seen from Wingate. Just getting herself free and then driving that ball low across the goal line. No players crashing in. Almost felt like they thought she was going to go herself. Didn't anticipate the ball to come across.
Nobody home in the attack for Florida State. Just about 3 minutes to play in our second overtime. Penalty kicks looming if we remain tied. That is the freshman win. Just came on for the Seminoles in place of EY. Echegini, leading scorer for goals for the Seminoles this season. Nice swanger. Olsen, well marked. And now there's another player down for Florida State away from the play. Jody Brown is going to need some assistance. Lori, I know you have, I'm sure, been in these situations where you get late in a match like this and it's just so much that's going on mentally, emotionally, and physically what you're asking of your body.
Yeah, these are the matches that you prepare for. This is what you put all of the work behind the scenes in, just to continue to find that extra little level to create the chance that's going to give you the go-ahead goal or the game winner. In both of these teams, it's been a fun match in action. We've seen some individual brilliance. Korbin Albert in particular with her team's 3 goals. Back and forth. A lot of work for both of these teams they put in, a lot of running, and in particular, Jody Brown and Echegini on the other side do so much work that goes unnoticed defensively. Really paint the field in those wide channels on both sides of the ball.
You can see Brown just doing all she can, trying to get to her feet, and it is an effort right now for the junior from St. Anne, Jamaica. She's going to have to come off. Bissell will come on. Want to give you our lineup for Saturday, week 10 of college football on ACCN and the ESPN app. 17th ranked North Carolina taking on Virginia at noon. Then number 20 Syracuse taking on Pitt. And then our ACCN primetime matchup, 21 Wake Forest, 22 NC State. Top 25 matchup to close out the night for you on Saturday. It's a top 5 matchup in terms of rankings between these two teams in this ACC women's soccer semifinal. Down to just over 2 minutes to see if we can decide a winner before going to a shootout. Out it goes. Goal kick coming for the Seminoles. hat trick on the night for Korbin Albert, the ACC Midfielder of the Year. There's a little bit of a late whistle there, but it is eventually called a foul against Florida State, coming up over the back of Olivia Wingate. 10 shots on the night for Korbin Albert, who stands over the ball now for Notre Dame. Gattino just trying to do anything she can to get a body part on the ball.
And just a little over a minute left to go, Jen, and this is where Notre Dame in their attacking half look to see if they can serve balls into the box, continue to get runners in.
Good long throw into the box. Mercado not given any room to move. It's another foul, another free kick coming for the Irish.
And you mentioned Gattino being the target off this Korbin set piece. Will certainly be the target as this clock winds down in the second overtime. Potentially last opportunity for the Fighting Irish.
Albert ready at the ball. The delivery, it's in the gloves of Roque. Florida State won't be able to make anything of that, which means we're going all the way through the shootout to determine who will meet North Carolina in Sunday's ACC Championship. So don't go anywhere. More coming your way from Cary, North Carolina. We will get you set up for the shootout when we return. One change you would expect to see here is Ashley Naylor, who's been out there getting warmed up for Notre Dame. The junior goalkeeper came on in the quarterfinals on Sunday in the shootout. Didn't play a minute of the match, and it looks like she may once again be the choice. We asked Nate Norman about that when we spoke to him, and he just really praised both her experience and then also the unselfishness of a player like Mackenzie Wood, who is making way for Naylor to come on in goal.
Yeah, it's not totally unique, but it is unique in some regards to have a player come on and for these shootouts, but as somebody that they trust and know is confident to at least make a save in these shootouts for Notre Dame.
Well, a little bit of history happening tonight. First time ever in the history of this tournament that both semifinals have made their way to penalty kicks. Now, I will say also, this is the first time that we have had 2 overtime periods for sure. It has been golden goal, and there have been games that have been won in overtime before. There was no opportunity to do that, at least in terms of the golden goal, but we didn't get any goals in overtime, so off we go to the shootout and set you up for the drama that is kicks from the mark in the postseason. So best of 5, and then if we're still tied after that, and if you were watching our first semifinal, you saw what happens. Round by round we go until we have a winner. We get late into the night here in Cary, North Carolina. This one starting almost an hour later than it was originally supposed to, thanks to North Carolina and Duke going through their shootout. Tar Heels eventually winning. They await the winner of this one. 2 goalkeepers having a word with our referee. Roque, the ACC Goalkeeper of the Year. And then Ashley Naylor had a couple of saves in the NCAA tournament second round win for the Irish last year against Purdue. Part of the reason her team had confidence to put her out there. Claire Robbins got all the scoring started tonight with her goal in the 13th minute. She will be the first shooter for the Seminoles. The two-time national champion, veteran in her 7th year with Florida State. From the spot, and it is saved! Denied by Naylor, who comes in hot off the bench.
And almost identical to our first game, the first shot saved as well. This time, Claire Robbins, the veteran player, steps up. One of the reasons why Naylor's in goal for Notre Dame, because of this exact reason, so good at reading the kicks from the spot, and just denies Claire Robbins for Florida State's first attempt.
Maddie Mercado now up for the Irish. She goes to the corner, that is saved!
Roque coming up big on Mercado. Not a well-taken penalty kick from Mercado, and Roque sees it the entire way, able to move her feet, make the saves. The save.
Well, we have had a couple of saves so far. Goalkeeper stealing the show. Will Elani Nesbitt change the fate of things? She's next up for the Seminoles. Senior from St. David's, Bermuda. Nesbitt finally does put one home. Florida State, for now, with the advantage.
Yeah, confident penalty kick for Nesbitt. You see just a little bit of stutter step. See if she can force Naylor one way. She goes the other, closes her hip at the last second, tucks that one into the near post. Well taken penalty kick from Nesbitt.
Is there some icing on the cake for Korbin Albert, who already has a hat trick on the night? She's 2 for 2 from the penalty spot during the season. Albert, oh yeah, she's got that one put home as well.
And she'll make it 3 for 3 for this season. And my goodness, what a game she has had. 3 goals in regulation. This time just steps up, makes no mistake about it. That's a calm finish from the sophomore.
Heather Payne has been here before. She had the penalty kick for Florida State in the 32nd minute of this match. And she's up now, the Irish international for the Seminoles. Payne, it was touched by Naylor, but not enough.
And it's not easy to step up for the second time in a game. Yes, it's against a different goalkeeper, but to put this one away, Naylor does guess correctly, but that is a well-taken penalty kick. Just opens up her hip, side foots it, enough pace, low enough to bypass Naylor.
So far, the Irish going in the same order that they went in the quarterfinals. That means third up is Kiki Van Zanten. All 5 shooters made their penalties against Pitt in the quarterfinal. The run up and the finish from Van Zanten keeps us even.
And it's a convincing run up from Van Zanten, just with pace, and at the last second closes her hips as Roque goes the opposite way.
Saran Ewai really laboring toward the end of this match for Florida State. But she is out there now for the Seminoles. Little hesitation, it was enough. Ewai does her job.
Well, these have been some class finishes. This player's just stepping up, tucking in nicely. Ewai does her job on that one.
Quinaya Hudson, now the shooter for the Irish, trying to keep pace with the Seminoles. Hudson, Roque makes the save! That was the same spot Hudson tried to put it and did put it in the quarterfinal. Roque makes her second save of this shootout.
Yeah, an important save from Roque as well. Reads it the entire way because it did have some good pace on it for Hudson. But you do feel like Roque would have done her homework, understand where these players would have shot on Sunday against Pitt.
Neiswanger can win it for Florida State. Missed a penalty against the Irish in the regular season. Doesn't miss this time. Seminoles, you can celebrate. Florida State going back to the ACC Championship game. They'll face North Carolina on Sunday.
Really just a fantastic semifinal. Excellent soccer on display, both ends. Good defending by both teams, but then also showing their class in the attack. And ultimately it'd be Florida State that would step up, take their penalty kicks really well, find themselves once again in the final. And no other than the veteran player Neiswanger, who's been the heart and soul of this team all season, just tucks it away to the near post to send the Seminoles into the championship game on Sunday. And just heartbreak, though, for Notre Dame. Come back twice to tie this game. Go ahead with Korbin's 3 goals in this game. Her hat trick. What an excellent individual performance from the center midfielder. And really just lots of credit to Nate Norman's side for what they've done this season. And expect to see them for many years to come just be real challengers in this ACC conference.
And as this season goes on to the NCAA postseason, no doubt, future very bright for the Fighting Irish. But it is Florida State who is through. So the 2 co-champions in the regular season, they will meet in the final. North Carolina won at Florida State in the regular season. Second time around, it'll be for a trophy. 4th time in the last 7 years, North Carolina and Florida State will meet for the title. Well, it's been a long night, some history-making soccer as both semifinals go to penalty kicks for the first time in the ACC Women's Soccer Championship. That is all from Cary, North Carolina. Our final score sees Florida State advancing. For Lori Lindsay, I'm Jen Hildreth. Now let's send it over to Kelsey Riggs and the All-ACC crew.